Hey guys, welcome back to AWOI Gaming. This is Perry, and today we're going to be talking about Pokemon Sword and Shield for the Nintendo Switch. Now, if you're not familiar with how we do things here at AWOI Gaming, we look at video games and how they might be influential to a gamer, the gaming community, and also developers as they learn from one another to make sure that video games are here to stay or never to leave. And without further ado, let's get straight to Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, if you're a kid of the 90s, you remember watching a cartoon show where monsters would roam around and you would see a kid throw a ball to catch these monsters, and they were cute and animated. And you would see this yellow mouse, and his name was Pikachu, and you wanted one. It was made by what we would grow to love nowadays to be Pokemon. If you were of the 1990s kids, you remember their Game Boy and having red or blue and just continuously playing a game where you got to make your own team Pokemon and just enjoy the experience. Let's speed it up to 2019. Pokemon is still here, and it doesn't seem to be leaving anytime soon. Pokemon Sword and Shield is the 8th generation to the Pokemon franchise that allows old players and new players to enjoy a game together for the first time in forever. This is good for casual fans that just go in and out of the series, or longtime friends that want to do what they need to do in the game just to get to catching every single Pokemon, which is so neat because first 2 hours in every Pokemon game is normally tutorials. Well, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can actually erase the idea of having to do tutorials, and that made me so happy because it was so nerve-wracking after years upon years of knowing what to do as a Pokemon trainer or as a gamer in the game, just knowing what I had to do in this to move the story forward, and having to go through those tutorials again because the gameplay mechanics haven't changed. It's still the same. You battle these Pokemon based on weakness types. If you want certain Pokemon, you can catch them. You go through the story. Then after that, you start catching every single Pokemon. But those first 2 hours just seem so drawn out because you're wasting time about stuff you know how to do. At this point, everyone knows how to catch a Caterpie or just a normal Pokemon if you've been a fan of the series. It is good for those who are just now becoming a Pokemon trainer or just a fan of the series, for them to understand what exactly you do in a Pokemon game. But it's also nice for longtime vets who just want to get to the meat and grind of catching every single Pokemon, or actually battling other trainers, which is in a realm of its own, as there are actual competitions where people train their Pokemon to be able to compete with other players. It's so unique that Pokemon is able to do that, as it brings people together. The story for Pokemon has always been the same: train, battle, beat all 8 gym leaders, beat the champion of the Pokemon League. This doesn't change much in Pokemon Sword and Shield. You are to beat the 8 gym leaders and then beat the champion of the league. His name is Leon, but you have this new mechanic that is in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it's called Dynamaxing, which makes your Pokemon super huge, and you get to battle with them for 3 turns before they shrink again in their normal size. In those 3 turns, it makes the game feel like you're playing with a Godzilla Pokemon, and they're big and monstrous, and they have super attacks, and it's just fun to witness as you're taking on some of these gym leaders. It always takes place on a pitch, so it's like every time you step out to the pitch, there's a crowd, and it made me think of an off-title that everyone loves for Nintendo 64, Pokemon Stadium. It just, with the crowd roaring, and like as the stakes got higher, the game felt really fun, and like made me enjoy my experience even more with this game, because it was just fun to witness what would happen next. If I made the wrong move, I could have died, or if I made the right move, I would have won. So to have the crowd in the background, it just my anticipation, even though at times, being an experienced trainer, I knew I would win. You just never knew what the AI or computer was going to do. What's also unique is how the gym leaders now have gym missions. And that is something that's different for the Pokemon series, because most of the time when you walk through these gyms, you just face the trainers in the gym and then face the gym leader, get the badge, and leave. No, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you actually have to work to be able to face the gym leader. You have to do these tasks in order to even be able to face the gym leaders. But this wasn't hard. It was just something unexpected, and I really appreciate it because I've been so used to the whole rinse and repeat cycle for this series, and to finally have something different, even just the way you do gym battles, was cool. And every time you stepped out to the pitch to face those gym leaders and have the crowd roaring, made it even more exciting just to be able to get that badge from the gym leader. Every generation of Pokemon games leads into a new region where you explore and meet new Pokemon to be added to the overall National Pokédex, which stores every Pokemon that is known to man that can add into your collection. Oh, yeah, we're gonna go there. Just you wait. What's cool about the Galar region is how beautiful it looks. It looks very polished compared to the predecessors of the Nintendo 3DS, as you see how cartoony and animated they are compared to the Nintendo Switch. It just looks beautiful. It plays smoothly from handheld into dock mode. I really didn't see frame rate drops at all. And what's also cool about the Galar region is they have something called the wild area. This is the area where most trainers will be spending their time with as you explore to find both new and old Pokemon at levels that sometimes you can't get to even catch because you don't have the required level to be able to catch those Pokemon. It was a bummer seeing higher levels that I wasn't able to catch some of my favorite Pokemon. It's just crazy seeing maybe an Onix out in the field and being, when you encounter it, it says you have encountered a strong looking Onix, or you have encountered a strong looking Pikachu, and you would have to just go beat the gym leaders and then come back and you can catch those Pokemon. It's just a way for you to play the story, that way you're not coming in too overpowered, and I can appreciate that because they really want you to take your time and not rush through it. But if you were to do that, it's okay because you can come back and get the Pokemon you want and all is good as gravy. But what's also cool is that you can level up your Pokemon in the wild area, as the most tedious thing no longer exists in this game, and that's experience level ups for each Pokemon. Back in the old days, you would have to make sure that your Pokemon that you wanted to level up was in the front of the party to use. That way they get all the levels and experience points to level up. Now, if you wanted to use something else, but you felt like it was going to be too much of a grind, you felt like you couldn't use that Pokemon. But in Pokemon Sword and Shield, that is wiped completely away, and everyone levels up with experience points at the same time as we have experience share, which is a lifesaver, so you can use whatever Pokemon and feel attached to every Pokemon and have the perfect team that you want. And that is something that makes Pokemon Sword and Shield so great, because you can battle some of these higher leveled Pokemon and gain a bunch of experience points once at a time and get the levels that you need to progress in the story and to come back and get that Pokemon that you really want. What's also cool about the wild area is the ability to have fun with your Pokemon, meaning that you can camp with them and just play with them and just have a good time, but you can also cook out there, which also restores health, which what we had in this game was called a Pokemon Center, where you would pretty much just go there, heal, and go back to the area to catch the Pokemon that you want. Pokemon Sword and Shield allows you to heal while you're in the Pokemon camp by cooking, eating, and it's just little video mini game mechanics within a game that makes you appreciate and have loads of fun with without just the grind or catching every single Pokemon. It's just those little tidbits that Game Freak was able to throw in just for kids and adults to have fun while playing this big franchise of a game that's been long awaited for the Nintendo Switch ever since it launched in 2017. I figure it's about that time that we talk about the negativity surrounding Pokemon Sword and Shield, as there is some. Let's talk about it. The National Pokédex is not coming to Pokemon Sword and Shield, and what that means is that not every Pokemon will ever be in the same game anymore. Fans have the right to be mad about this because if they've been playing since the beginning, they won't be seeing all their Pokemon here on the Nintendo Switch, because you were able to transfer from Game Boy to Game Boy Advance to the DS to 3DS. So going forward, Game Freak has decided that not every single Pokemon will be in the Pokemon Sword and Shield or any games going forward. With that being said, it made me feel like I wasted most of my time feeling that I could transfer everything up and have this big advantage of being able to collect them all, because Pokemon's always about catching them all and having this national dex, live breeding Pokédex to help friends out if they needed it and be able to trade and just to continue that bond. It seemed like a slap in the face, but the more I played Sword and Shield, it made me realize that it doesn't really matter, because I'm still enjoying the game, and the fact that there is over 400 Pokemon in this game alone is even more overwhelming the more you think about it, because there's over 800 plus Pokemon, and to have half of them in one game is ridiculous because of how much you had to do, and it's fun that you have to catch them all. But if you're just a casual player, and not say that word lightly, then you really don't care about that stuff. You just want to play the game of Pokemon and just have fun with your friends, and that is fine, because overall the experience is about you having fun and enjoying yourself, and Pokemon Sword and Shield doesn't deviate from that whatsoever. And if you're a long-term friend, you have every right to be mad and upset about not having every single Pokemon in the game. But you have to also realize that you're going away from the actual principles of what Pokemon was about, and it's to bring the next generation together that have never played the game, and to help them out as well, and to also experience yourself becoming a better trainer, because this changes the meta for the gaming series, as not every Pokemon will be in it, and it just makes you have to think new and fresh, be more strategic. You have to look at it that way and have more fun, in the sense of, oh, I no longer have this Pokemon, let me think of new ways. It's all about creativity, and that's a way of making sure that this game stays positive and not always negative. The negativity is there, and we have the right, but we also have to learn from it. And if you feel like it was bad, don't buy the game. I tell anyone that does feel like they don't need to, don't buy the game, and that's fine. But other people are still going to play it, and that's what makes Pokemon great, because we're having this conversation about what's good for the series and what's not, and it just brings people together in good conversations and ranting, and I always will welcome that on this channel, just to understand where you're coming from and why you have these thoughts. But let's use that as fuel and to have more fun playing the actual game rather than bashing the game 24/7. We have every right as critics and reviewers, but we have to also take it for what the developers try to give to us. The story of Pokemon really didn't make sense at all in the light of negativity, because it just felt like it was rushed towards the end, and it felt like it had no meaning whatsoever. Of course, the true game of Pokemon is the in-game content of catching every Pokemon, battling, but for overall storytelling, it didn't make sense to me whatsoever, and just felt like a waste of time, as I was having fun playing the game. I'm having fun playing the game, but your story didn't hit me. But it was only about a 12-hour playthrough for me, and that was super short. Not an interest and a care in the world. I was really looking forward to a great story along with a great game. I got a great game and not such a good story, which went hand in hand because I was really looking forward to being able to catch every single Pokemon over again just to complete my live breeding Pokédex. But we also have to talk about, as a community, what do we want for the Pokemon franchise in terms of story? In gameplay? Do we want to go the Witcher route of having side quests and do X, Y, and Z for this character and have action? Or do we want to have this experience still of collecting every single Pokemon and filling out the Pokédex? That's a conversation that we have to have together as peers and as gamers and as the gaming community, and we have to send that letter to Game Freak. That's fuel for you guys that don't approve of the game. You don't want to pay it out of your pocket? So write letters. Hey, we want this. Give it a more breath of fresh air. Okay, we're not getting the Pokemon. What about this? Make it that way. Those are the conversations that we need to have in order to make the best experience for every person coming into the series or has already been a part of the series. Overall, I enjoyed playing the game, even though I had these negative thoughts here and there about everything surfacing on the internet. It's just, at the end of the day, I wanted to play my Pokemon game. Thank you, Game Freak, and Game Freak Live surfaced, and I signed with thank you, Game Freak, because I really just wanted to play a beautiful Pokemon game, and I got that experience. Now, I have to say, if you were to play connectively to the internet, the wild area does glitch. And it's not cool having a glitchy wild area, as I saw frame rate drops that I don't see nearly any time when I'm playing a game. What's also cool about the wild area, it really makes you feel like a Pokemon trainer when you see the tall grass and you see these Pokemon just appear and you just sneak up behind them and try to encounter them so you can battle. That is what made me go like, that is different. I haven't seen it since Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, in which was a Gen 3 remake for the Nintendo 3DS, and to see that feature in the Switch and to be able to do it over made me happy, as I was able to feel like I was a trainer just crawling and to be able to get some of these Pokemon. And if you're a fashion bug, have fun, because there is a lot of money in this game that goes straight to the uniforms that you want to spend, and it makes you feel different. What's also cool, once you're connected to the internet, you can play what they have is called max raid battles, where your friends team up with you to take on these big giant Pokemon together, and at the end it's your goal to catch them. You have 10 turns to do them, to do that, but it's not always easy. Sometimes it's hard, and that's good because it keeps you guessing and what you need to do strategically. I actually had a friend say like they couldn't beat a Butterfree, and I was like, okay, I'll help you. And we have yet to do that because of scheduling, but it was just the idea to be able to team up with your friends to be able to take on some of these bigger monsters. It's just a way to bring friends together even further. They connect. There's no issues amongst how long it takes, like syncing together. It's just a matter of getting to a battle together. But once you figure out how to link together with the set link code, which was a trouble for me and my friends, it was an easier task. It was like, oh, okay, we get it. But overall, once we figured it out, it was fun, and we haven't had a problem since then. Now, the way we grade things here at AWOI Gaming is that we're due on an influential scale on how it is. Not influential, potential, influential, or very influential to the gaming community and to gamers. And I had to say that Pokemon Sword and Shield is influential to the gaming community for its ability to have us talk about all the conversations that we want in a game, its ability to bring people together, the overall friendships that can be made while playing this game, and the ability to break barriers, as I am a black man that made a lot of good new friends outside of my ethnicity and within as well, and for us to all become friends over a small video game as we were kids, and to grow into these adults that are still talk to one another. And if you ever need help getting a Pokemon or something, it's always there. All you need to do is just ask, and someone is willing to help. Pokemon family is very friendly, even though we have our negativities right here amongst about Pokédex. We just love Pokemon in general, and we have every right to be upset. But this game, Pokemon Sword and Shield, as it's the latest installment of the Pokemon series, is influential, and it just proves that Pokemon is here to stay. Thank you, Game Freak, for giving us a game that allows us to have these conversations. An influential step for Pokemon making its debut on the Nintendo Switch, which felt great playing handheld and even dock. I hope you liked the review. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you want more content, please hit the subscribe button, and also leave your comments in the section below. I would like to hear your opinions about Pokemon Sword and Shield and what you're experiencing the game, or if you're planning on picking it up, or what are your overall thoughts about what should happen with the Pokemon series. It's always interesting to hear different takes about a game that someone really likes and enjoys and is very passionate about. Something like Pokemon, and that's what we will always welcome here at AWOI Gaming. Individuals expressing themselves is always an honor, and for me to be a part of that is really great. Thank you guys. You have a good one.